two men remove a nudge bar. A man gets a phone call. A Suzuki drives on two wheels. A Hilux doesn't make it up a hill. A man hurts his hand. A Jimny charges up a hill. And a man stands on a Hilux. This is the sixth round of the 2016 Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge, where near-standard 4x4s compete on some tough 4x4 tracks in short and long wheelbase classes. This week we're at the Volverkloof 4x4 trail east of Pretoria. Route Master Saki Kutsia's brief was to go bigger and higher and tougher, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Saki would do just that. Although it was early days yet in the overall championship points race, this event would go some ways in setting the stage for the overall competition. This round also included a media team, competing in a Mitsubishi Pajero. That 4x4 show's Tumelo Maketekete had a plan to win overall, but he was in for a bit of a surprise, with Saki's obstacles proving quite, well, tough. So after the briefings, registrations, safety checks and the occasional bull bar removal, it's time to go 4x4ing. We join the action at obstacle 5. Now as far as obstacles go, this one is pretty much straightforward, as Barent Pretorius and Shante Smith in an Isuzu KB now demonstrate. Simply drive down a steep incline, make a tight turn at the bottom of the hill, and then simply drive up the hill again. Easy, right? Rian Kutsia is next in a Toyota Hilux called Dusty, with his better half Michelle out on the track playing points person. Right, so down the hill goes Dusty. Rian also has to perform the customary stop and reverse trick. Now for that climb. After spooling up the turbo, Rian lets rip. Oh dear, Dusty just didn't make it up. Rian will have to reverse down the hill for another go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Rian, you can do it. Ach no, again he gets hung up right at the top. The marshals have had enough, so Rian has to exit the obstacle with no points. Now what, Rian?
Yeah, it was challenging. I think dropped down the tire pressure to 1.4, but I still just couldn't get that top bar, just with kicked. So, but we tried it, gave it our best shot.
Ryan Otto and Heinrich Leach line up next in their new Toyota Hilux 2.8 GD6. After watching what happened to their Toyota compatriots from afar, Ryan and Heinrich have a cunningly brilliant plan. Storm up the hill at 60 k's an hour. After completing the first part of the obstacle quite well, Ryan lines up the Hilux for the big storm. And up she goes, even catching a bit of air. Supposedly bringing a knife to a gunfight are Chart Prinsloo and Lawrence Klopper in a little Suzuki Jimny. The Jimny has no differential lockers, so getting it up this hill may require hitting the climb at around 120 kilometers an hour. Down went the Jimny, no worries. And it also does the stop and reverse to better line up for the steep climb. Oh well, this should be rather dusty. Yes, as expected, the Jimny makes a lot of noise and a lot of dust. Chart has one more shot at the hill, so down he goes again. But then Lawrence spots an alternative line up the hill.
Boy, buddy, I say. Woohoo! With a touch of the horn.
So we can do something with the Jimny right, eh? I'm happy about that.
To round things off at Obstacle 5, another Toyota. This is Basil and Roger Bosch, and they're in a Fortuner. Off they go. Having successfully made it down the hill, Basil lines up the Fortuner and lets rip. Okay, so that didn't go entirely to plan. But he's got one more shot. Come on, Basil, you can do it! Someone is so happy about Basil getting up the hill that they even gave him a congratulatory call. How did that go?
That was grand. It was grand. Bit unexpected. Loose swell, but very great.
Right, time for a quick break. When we return, the action gets bigger and tougher at the 6th round of the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. We're back at the Volverkleur 4x4 trail east of Pretoria. This is Obstacle 1, which is essentially like a big sandpit with gates that the teams have to navigate through. Easy, right? Not if Saki Kutsia designs the track, it's not. This is Lawrence and Sonia Ferry, and this year Lawrence has swapped his Nissan Pathfinder for a shorty Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. The Jeep crawls its merry way down the first decline. But now there's a tight right-hand turn coming up. Watch out for the never mind. Lawrence stops and takes a roll back to line up better for the next gate. Through he goes. Now just for one more gate, also through a tight turn. With another stop and reverse, the Ferries get through okay.
How did we do? How did we do? 10?
45.
Well, it's a good start.
Our next customers are Linton Alsop and Deborah Krummick. Their Mitsubishi Pajero is also of the short wheelbase variety, so they should fare reasonably well here. The Pajero casually ambles down the first incline. Linton is already having trouble getting through the first gate. the Pajero's nose pushing wide into that pole. But finally he's through. Now on to the next gate. Oh dear. The Pajero, she is stuck. Sand 1, Pajero 0. Linton has another go, and the Pajero, she's still stuck. So after using up his lives on this obstacle, Linton is pointed out of the sand. Sadly, that's 0 points earned.
Yeah, real tough. Just got stuck in the sand. Couldn't get through that third gate at all. Just impossible to get around. This vehicle, I don't know. It must be the driver. Can't be the vehicle.
This is Vaughan Hendrik Yanni Ashford, partnered by Noel Jones. Vaughan's Nissan hardbody is about as long as an oil tanker, so this ain't gonna be easy. And he starts, not so well. Vaughan takes out one pole and stalls the Nissan in one foul swoop. Oh well, there's always the next gate.
Come back slowly.
At the next gate, the long hardbody won't fit through that gap, so Vaughan has to stop and reverse a wee bit. Now he's taken out the pole anyway, so it's open season as the V6 hardbody battles to get itself out of the sand. He's free, but there's a small problem.
Mr. Gate, 0.
Indeed. Remember, Vaughan, the purpose of the gates are, after all, to drive through and not around. Meanwhile, Vaughan had seemingly looked deep into a crystal ball.
I've got a big feeling we're going to see some big rocks today.
This is obstacle 3, and it's a rocky one, as Michael Palmas and Zion Erasmus in their Mitsubishi Triton demonstrate here. It's not a particularly steep climb, but you do have to pick the ideal line and maintain just the right amount of momentum. Then, just when you think this battle has been won, there's a last hurdle, a rather large boulder that you have to conquer to get through the last gate. Michael and Zenon did a grand job there, by the way, scoring a handy 100 points. Gerard Skutter and Tienes Lindeck are next in their Nissan hardbody. This hardbody is diesel-powered, and Gerard seems to have a more delicate right foot than his fellow Nissan man Vaughan. With Tina's making sure he sees the ideal line, Gerard steadily makes his way through the rocks. Most impressive. Now just for that last big rock. The Datsun is through. When the marshals tallied the points, though, they adjudged the Nissan to have stopped several times, which meant the team didn't score full marks here. Yep, sometimes it's tough when you're caught between a rock and a hard place. A differential lock of sorts is obviously a great asset when you drive up rocks like these. So what to do when you don't have such aids? And if your 4x4 is powered by a lawnmower engine? This is Flip Murray and Adrian Pretorius, and they're in a lawnmower engine-powered Suzuki SJ with no lockers for the front or rear diffs. The only way they're going to get through here is by tackling the rocks at a good rate of knots. Up goes the Suzuki, jumping from rock to rock like a mountain goat. Up she goes, wheels getting airborne all over the show. Now for that last boulder business, the SJ does it on 2 wheels.
Nearly airborne.
Shopping time again. On the other side, the teams face a tough old climb, and we find out who won this round of the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. Volverkleur 4x4 trail features some interesting climbs, like this one, which also has a few axle twisters worked in for good measure. And when someone called Saki Kutsia adds a whole lot of gates in seemingly impossible places on such a climb such as this, then, well, you get plenty of action. And the first customer to provide such action is Peter Gunlach in a Suzuki Jimny. Golly, that's the fastest a Jimny has ever gone up a hill. But he's made it up with 75 points in the bank. Well done, Peter. This is former champion Danny Daniels and co-driver Rob Wallace. This year, Danny is in his Plasbakkie to conform with the standard vehicle rules. At least he has a rear differential lock in his armory. Danny smoked that one, but unfortunately he's taken out 1 pole on the way up. Says Danny,
this is not my Jeep, that I'm used to, but yeah, I did it. So I'm happy. I'm happy with 75 points.
Another team that has to make do with only a center differential lock is the Land Rover Defender TD5 crew of Chris DeVette and Adrian Smith. Adrian's first attempt sees the Landy spin to a halt, that axle twister proving a hill too far for the Defender. He has another go, but there just isn't enough traction available. He rolls back a bit more and also changes the line to circumnavigate those holes. He makes it up okay, but the compromised line means he also flattens some poles. But hey, the Landy made it up the hill. This is obstacle 9, and it's not very long at all. And it's a rather tricky side slope climbing challenge with seemingly ridiculously positioned gates. It's all part of Route Master Saki Kutsia's grand plan. This is Gareth Gonsalves and Chantal van Niekerk, and they're in an Isuzu Frontier V6. Gareth is sporting a stylish bandage earned earlier in the day when his thumb lost a battle with his steering wheel. Hope that doesn't prove to be a handicap here. That was very well done, with only 1 pole killed. Next to attempt the obstacle are Johan and Mareka Reichel. Let's see if Johan can miss that pole. Ah, so close, but he's done it.
Ek sien nie daai paaltjie nie.
On that disappointing note, we move swiftly along to the last action of the day, where a man stands on a Hilux bakkie. This obstacle doesn't appear very tough, but it's one of those technical ones that will quickly catch out the unwary. This is Johan Becker and Johan van der Heever in a Suzuki Jimny. They storm up the hill and now have to make a very tight turn to the right. Johan has overshot the turn, and the Jimny isn't going to make it reversing up that hill again. So the team has to admit defeat on this challenge and leave the obstacle with 0 points. Wimpy Olivier and Sean Niemand are our last customers for the day. Wimpy, who is fluent in Lichtenbergian, drives his Toyota Hilux Plaasbakkie in this competition. Sean has won several competitions in the past as well, so together they form a formidable team. Wimpy and Sean provide plenty of entertainment by themselves, so I can sit back and watch this one with you. Well done, lads. Time for some results then. In third place in the shorty class was the old classic, the SVM 3000, piloted by Hans Stradom and Johan Saliers. The SVM actually broke down, and the team fixed a loose rear axle with duct tape and tie-down straps, and completed numerous obstacles like that. In second place were Anton Kutsia and Johan Marx in a Mercedes Geländewagen. But winning their class, despite an embarrassing exit out of obstacle 10, were Johan Becker and Johan van der Heever in the Suzuki Jimny, taking their second victory in as many events. In the long wheelbase class, where the points earned were much lower, third place went to Michael and Annelies Dutton in a Toyota Fortuner. In second place was the Flying Hilux 2.8 GD6 of Ryan Otto and Heinrich Leach. Taking the win in the long wheelbase class was Johan and Mareka Reichel in a Toyota Fortuner. Appels, as Johan is better known, really looks like he means business in 2016. That wraps up the action from Wolverkloof. Next week, the teams head to the new Spookspreid 4x4 trail near Heidelberg, where, well, suffice to say that if you thought the teams were having a tough time at Wolverkloof, you better tune in next week. Till then.